Hey, so short update on a little bit of news from Afghanistan. If you haven't heard, there was an attack on a U.S. base in Jordan by drones. And from what I've read, they think that it was launched from Syria. The thing about this base is it sounds like it's kind of coordinating the efforts, the U.S. efforts in the area, right? So a significant base in Jordan, and they think that it launched from Syria. It was backed by Iran. So this happened yesterday. So Thursday, I think it was, or maybe it was Wednesday, I got a message from one of the people I'm connected to that's in Pakistan. It's an Afghan ally. He's not technically in my group, but he's given me a lot of help he's Muslim, but he's given me a lot of help with my people over the past year. I don't know what the deal is. I'm in my car, gotta go. But anyway, he's told me different things that have gone on in the past, like, gave me warnings of an attack that was going to be happening in Islamabad. He's told me about other things that have ended up happening that I read about in the news later. And so he's also somebody that I go to when I want to verify information about something in Pakistan or Afghanistan. So anyway, he sent me a message last week and he asked me if I knew anybody in Israel. And I'm like, I said, well, I did help with the March of Remembrance here in Houston, about 10 years ago. And I'm still friends with some of the people that are involved in that. And they have contacts with the Israeli consulate here in Houston. So he had information about some terrorists, some Iranian backed terrorist groups in Syria. And he said, we have information and locations. And so I forwarded the information to my friend who forwarded it to the Israeli consulate here in Houston. And he said somebody may be contacting you. And I said, okay, well, I didn't hear anything the next day, or even it might have been even later that day. I don't know. My African friend sent me more information and it was a little bit more detail. I forwarded that to my friend again. And I said, well, do you want me to contact somebody here in the US? And he had already asked had tried to contact his US based supervisor, the one that's overseeing his SIV application, and they weren't interested. They weren't interested in terrorism in Syria because I don't know. He said something to do with the Palestinian situation. I don't know what that means, if that was actually true or if the supervisor just like didn't think, it was relevant to them or something. I don't know. So he um he tells me this, and so I said, do you want me to try to contact someone with the US? So I called my representative, Dan Crenshaw's office, because I've talked to a staffer before about the situation. I forwarded her the information. She said, well, we have people, I'll forward this information to them. I also contacted Mike Waltz's office because I've talked to them about some of the Afghan cases before, and contacted the person that I've talked to there. And she said, I'll forward this to our district director. He's the brigadier general, or used to be a brigadier general. And so I'm like, okay, what else can I do? You know? And then my Afghan friend sent me more information. He said, we have information on activities. This is urgent. And I said, okay, well, I forwarded that information. And then my friend who had forwarded it to the Israeli consulate, he's like, well, we've done what we can. The people that are responsible for it know, and it's going to be up to them whether they do something about it or not. I never got a contact from anybody. And then yesterday there was a drone strike. And so, is that the same thing? I don't know. But I do know that there was information given to them, given to several sources about terrorist activity in Syria. It was backed by Iran, and nobody took the time to even ask about it. So who knows? But I have read that there have been numerous reports that they know about a lot of information, and people are ignoring it. It's like, I don't know. But do you remember, like, back after 9/11, there was all this investigation about, like, what happened? How did this happen? And it came out that there had been intel coming in about what was going on, and it was ignored. The dots weren't connected. And the same thing could happen again because they are doing the same thing again. And I don't know if it's just because people just have their heads up their butt and they just don't want to take things seriously. That's just, you know, that's what my African friend said. He's like, the US always does this. They never care until something happens. Exactly. Also, I've read that the US is thinking about pulling out of Syria because, oh yeah, Afghanistan was such a great plan. Let's just do that again. Let's just do that again. We don't even have hardly any troops in Syria, just like we had hardly had any troops in Afghanistan. It was just posturing. And so if they're pulling out of Syria for or thinking that they're going to pull out of Syria because it was going to help it with the election, like Trump thought pulling out of Afghanistan would help with the 2020 election. That's exactly why it was. Either that or Putin told him to pull out. I don't know. But it's just ridiculous. So anyway, it's just an update. I gotta go. Got a meeting, but yeah. Um, things don't change because you want things to be different. People have different plans, than a US agenda. They're not going to just sit and lay down and forget about everything that's come before and their own goals just to make the US administration happy. Reality is reality, regardless of whether you like it or not. So anyway, hope you have a good day.